Welcome, everybody. This is your girl, Coach Tanya from the Trauma Recovery Room. Today, I have an exciting show for you today. I am actually going to talk about something that I struggle with most of my life until I actually was faced with it. A lot of people in this world actually struggle with this, and that is the fear of being alone. Like, what is this big fear of being alone? It is pretty much probably for me, I can say it was just the fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. I also had this fear of rushing through relationships because subconsciously I didn't want the other person to find out about me, so to speak. So I would rush and make that serious commitment. So by the time they did find out, it would be too late. We would be so caught in a relationship. But that was based out of my fear of being alone. I would do anything and everything subconsciously. I didn't do it on purpose, but anything and everything subconsciously so that I wouldn't be alone. So let me tell you about myself and where the trauma recovery room came from. So I grew up with parents that were very toxic, mother and father. They were married, so we did have the family marriage structure. It was myself and two of my older siblings that grew up with me. The other ones were actually grown and gone out of the house already. So most of my story, well, actually all of my stories, will be based off of my childhood growing up with my two siblings that I grew up with. Mother and father, very, very toxic, very, very emotionally unavailable. There was this thing with my mom where she just had this, and it probably was subconsciously done by her, but she just had this thing for her lighter skinned children. And one of the three daughters that stayed in the house that we grew up was the lighter one. So to me, that was her favorite daughter. So that was the daughter that got all of the attention. That was the daughter that got the affection. That was the daughter that got the nurturing and the caring. On my father's side, however, myself and my other sister, we got his attention, his affection. But one day, my father called me the dumbest child in the world, and that totally fucking blew my mind, left me in a strange place, a foreign place where I was scared and lonely, and I didn't know what to do. I felt disappointed and I felt alone. So, from that point, when I felt unprotected, when my father called me that, I felt unprotected, I felt unloved, and I felt alone. I felt humiliated and embarrassed. So for the rest of my life, for the next 30 years, I would do anything to avoid those feelings, particularly that one of being alone or feeling as if the alone is on its way. So subconsciously, growing up in toxic relationships, growing up in a toxic household, I began to create toxic households for myself and for my children. My last relationship, however, was the breaking of the cycle. Although my children are older now and I don't have any babies, well, I do have an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, but no children up under 4 or 5, that age. But to have my last relationship be a wake up call for me and to actually having it be what forced me into my greatest fear, which was being alone. I have come to realize that it is a beautiful thing. I was afraid of peace. I was afraid of joy. I was afraid of tranquility. I was afraid of being happy. And I was afraid of just letting myself be myself. And the reason that, and I'm going to talk about that for being one of the reasons why we have this fear of being alone. The reason for that was because I didn't think that I deserved any of those things. So subconsciously, I didn't think that I was worthy of having those things, of having peace of mind, of having love surrounding me, of having happiness and joy without somebody that I chose to have it with. In a controlling environment, which was toxic, I still hung on to that. But that last relationship woke me up. And during the process of my wake up, the last year or so of the relationship, and we were only married for 2.5 years, uh, the last almost 6 months, we've been separated and divorced. And then the last year of that marriage, I was on a venture to better myself and to explore myself and to see why I allowed this man to come into my life. And on that journey, I discovered the trauma recovery room. So the trauma recovery room is pretty much a place, it's a sacred place where people who grew up with emotional trauma and who struggle with it throughout their adulthood lives to overcome it, it's a place for you to find the tools and the resources that you need so that you don't have to continue to struggle and that you can open your eyes to the truth of who you are. So all of the things that I teach my clients, that I put on YouTube, that I put on Facebook, uh, I've actually practiced most of them myself or throughout earning my college degree, and just life experiences have taught me many of the other things. So that is my background. We're going to get started about fear of being alone and why people have this fear. So there are 3 reasons why we fear being alone. The first one is your root chakra is blocked. And for those of you who are not familiar with the chakras, there are 7 outlets, you'll say, within the body that extends energy through, so from the energy within inside of us going out of us into the ethers of the universe, those portals that allow that energy to flow through our chakras. There are 7 portals of 7 openings in the body, and the root chakra is pertaining to us being grounded and connected to the universe, to source, to earth, to Mother Earth, to nature. And when you have a fear of being alone, then that means that you are not aware of your surroundings, pretty much, your spiritual surroundings. You are not aware of who you are and what your purpose is in this life is. You are not aware of the creator and his protection and his covering over you. You are out of alignment with the forces of nature. So when you fear being alone, then that means that there is a part of you that has been kept from connecting. There is a part of you that has been kept from connecting. And that part of not being grounded with source or not being connected pretty much stems from trauma. So usually when the chakras are blocked, it's because something traumatic stopped the flow of that healing energy throughout the body, and you become stopped up or you become plugged up or blocked. So when you are not feeling grounded and connected to the universe, then there's something deeply grounded inside of you where you don't feel a part of something. Your creativity is not sparking within you. Maybe when you were a kid, you were left to handle things on your own a lot. Maybe you didn't have the family protection that you should have had as a kid. Maybe when you were in your early adulthood life, there was a connection that you depended on that you were stripped away from and you were left alone. So there's something deeply embedded in your mindset. And I want to say from childhood, because usually things that happen to us in older adulthood, we can typically get through faster and easier, unless it's just extremely traumatic. But emotional events that hurt us tend to be easier to get through when we're adults. So I want to say that if you're an adult and you have this fear of being alone, then there's somewhere that little child, that little girl, that little boy in you that is scared to be by themselves. And you need to address that little girl or that little boy and ask that little girl or little boy, what is going on? What are you scared of in that moment of aloneness? When you were little, when you were left alone, what was happening when you were alone? Was it that something was harming you? Or was it that it was just too silent and you didn't have any entertainment? What was going on Why do you have this fear to just simply be with yourself? And why do you not feel grounded and connected to the earth and the creator who put you on the earth? So that's number one. Number two, you were abandoned as a child. You were emotionally abandoned. You were left alone a lot. Same thing with the root chakra. You were left alone a lot. You were left to fend for yourself a lot. You were made to believe that you were all alone. When you had needs as a child, they weren't being met because other people's needs were being met. I remember when there was a time when my mother and father, my father got a J.C. Penney's credit card, and we all went shopping, and everybody got something. And when it came time to me to go shopping, they were out of money. So it was all, my mother told me, well, sorry, we'll get you next time. Next time never came. So to me, I felt like when it was time for celebration or when it was time to be included in things, and that was just one situation, I was always left out. I was always abandoned. I was always left alone. So when it comes to a situation of being alone, this is before I healed. When it came to a situation of me being alone, I went back to that place of never being surrounded around anybody to love me. So I would get deeper in the abyss of wanting to be alone because, again, I would reiterate that I wasn't good enough or that I had to work hard to get attention or affection. So you were abandoned as a child and left to fend for yourself a lot. And number three, you have a poor self-image. You have a poor self-image. And what does that mean? You don't know how to see yourself properly. The way you imagine yourself in your head is what you project onto other people. And when you see something wrong with you, because again, you were abandoned as a child, you're not grounded with the earth or source, you feel as if internally that there's something wrong with you. And when you feel like there's something wrong with you, you project that thought onto other people. And you know that deep down subconsciously, or you think that deep down subconsciously that something's wrong with you. So you subliminally push people away. And from that, you actually are making yourself alone, therefore being alone and reiterating that poor image of yourself, meaning you're not worthy of having people around you. You don't think that you're good enough. You don't think that what you bring to this world means anything when you are with other people. So there are plenty of reasons why you fear being alone. We could break this down in so many ways, but these three give you a glimpse of the idea of how you can look at things from a spiritual perspective, and definitely know that being alone is, and I talk about that in my book, Mending a Broken Heart. Well, that's actually one of the chapters, and it's called Alone Time, and it's talking about after a relationship breakup, that time that you have alone. Many people take that time and they waste that time. So the time that you have separated from somebody or a situation that has been taken from you, or maybe you're in a relationship that's not working. There may be cause for it not working, and you may need some alone time so that you can see a better perspective of the relationship, or better yet, leave the relationship. So there's always things going on behind the scenes, and there's always a way for you to discern what it is and how to apply it to your everyday life. So that way, when you are faced with difficulties or challenges, like being alone or the fear of being alone, then you can better tackle those situations. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can definitely email me, join my email list. My email is Coach Tanya. It's Tanya with an O, not an A. The year 2020, the numbers at gmail.com. That's Coach Tanya 2020 at gmail.com. You can also go ahead and look me up on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Coach Tanya's Tribe, and friend request me. There are so many things on my page that you can learn. If you're not quite ready to just fully dive into the experience of getting coaching services so that you can better present yourself to the world and you can unveil yourself, then go ahead and check out the free resources that I provide. There are some courses that I provide that are very affordable. There are some courses that are lower, $37, and then there's some $99 if money is a problem and you need some help. There's always something available for you to service yourself with. And I also have many other programs and courses that range from $99 to $3,500. So you're definitely welcome to take a look, see what it is that you can find on that page to help you get through your journey of quiet time, of spiritual oneness, because there's a reason why you are in the situation that you're in. There is a reason why the universe has brought you to this video. There is a reason why you are drawn to the words that I am speaking, simply because it is the universe opening up this portal for you to walk right through. It is time for you to heal. It is time for you to open the doors to your freedom. It is time for you to love yourself. It is time for you to put yourself first. It is time for you to have the victory. It is time for you to explore the real you and drop that mask, get rid of that mask. It is time to let go of the old you and step into the new you. The new you is so much better, and the new you is not scared. The new you possesses all of the spirits that God has put in us. God did not give you a spirit of fear. To be fearless, God said that you are fearless in every situation that you can face or think about facing, or not even think about facing because you think that you need to be scared. David, that your Goliath will be knocked down when you become fearless and walk in your manner and walk in your position. God says that we have a spirit of love. Love yourself. Find the love that's within you so that you can share it with other people. God says that you have the spirit of a sound mind. That means that you can make good decisions for yourself. Make good decisions, make better decisions. Choose wisely for yourself. And God says that you have power. We have the power to control the forces of nature. Do you know what that means? That means that your mind, our power lies in our mindset, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we believe. That is what controls our world and our existence. So if you are fearing being alone with a king, a powerful king, if you are fearing being alone with the queen, a powerful queen, then you need to look deep inside yourself and see what it is that you are here on this earth for. Because why are you scared to know who you really are? There is a superpower in you that is waiting, breaking, busting to come out. But you have to remove that fear. And if being alone is where it's at for you right now, then be alone, because God is calling you to do something, and it may require you to be alone. So you cannot fear what God has before you, because when you have fear, you strangle his purpose for your life. And it is time out for strangling purposes. 2021 is a new year. It is a brand new chance for you to be a new you. 2020 was a revelation year. Let this revelation right now show you how powerful you are, and get over that fear. And that is all I have for you today. This is Coach Tanya, and I will see you on the other side. I'm out.